is Nambi. Nambi from Chennai. Basically, I'm a mechanical engineer having 25 plus years of industrial experience. And then I moved on to system side. I'm a certified lead auditor for 9001 2015 and 14001 2015 and then 45001 2018 and then certified green belt holder and other associated certificates I have. And my current profile is I am a trainer and I am a consultant and I am an empanel auditor for a renowned certification body. This is about my background. Once again, I welcome you all for this wonderful session on certified 5 years professional. So let's start from here. If you have any questions, you can put it in question box. We can discuss with you later because no, I don't want this flow should get disturbed. So we can discuss it later. Okay. Please make a note and put it later. Thank you very much. I will start from here. Let me introduce about threefold first. This is established in 2008. And it has got branches in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Chennai, Bangalore, and Mumbai.
Just for a while, our trainer are having.
I'm sorry, it got disconnected in between. So once you come inside, you'll have some so many priorities, routine priority, and some unexpected new emergency situation will come. You do not know what to do. You will be searching for things. You will be searching for records. So you'll be frustrated in your workplace. This normally happens with everybody. See, for example, if you take where is this document, I cannot find it. Actually, it'll take more time for you to find out the right document. This position makes me tired and I cannot remember how to do next. And when I am making mistakes again and again, why we cannot communicate properly, time is not enough. Normally we put a lot of time, more than 8 hours. Even then we may not be able to complete our task. So people will go mad. So what to do now? Here we go. These are all the common workplace problems we face. Heavy absenteeism, turnover will be more, and demoralized, demotivated employees, unfavorable environment, errors and mistakes. But we cannot live with the same problems. We need to find some solution. There are tools available. There are solutions available. We need to find out what exactly we need to do. This is what I was trying to explain you. Or are you a positive thinker or negative thinker? Are you going to live with the problem? No, I can't sort out this issue, or with a positive attitude, are you going to solve the issue? The classic example is given. Both the case, the tumbler, looks same only. A positive thinker can say half of the glass is full, and the negative thinker can say half is empty. It depends on how we look at the things. So we need to have a positive thinking, a positive approach, so that definitely we'll find a solution. Or other thing is negatively inside and give up. This is not the one we want. We want this one. We have to be a positive thinker and find a solution how to fix this problem. And you alone cannot do certain things. We need a team of people together with positive attitude. So we club or we pull everybody to the team, work together to achieve the fire's results. Here again, it is a classic example given. Even then, you are a positive thinker. You some things you have to make ideas to be realistic. You need tools. You need some solution, or you need some approach. What is that approach we are looking for? That's called fire's approach. So once we start working on this fires, whatever the problems I was talking about earlier, cluttered way of working, confusion, short of time, putting more time in workplace, everything will be sorted out. This is what related to fires. Actually, it is invented by Sakichi Toyoda. Normally, he is called as father of fires. It's a Japanese technology, Japanese system, rather, I would say. It started during 1980 and then 1990. That was the history about it. Please go through this definition very carefully. What do you mean by fires? Fire is a philosophy and a way of organizing and managing the workspace and workflow with the intent to improve efficiency. How are we going to improve efficiency? By eliminating waste and then improving flow and reducing process unreasonableness. So this is for improvement of working environment. Again, the same thing, emphasis is given here. Fire's activities are to create a good working environment through reduction of muri, mura, and muda. This is also related to Japanese terminologies. It helps to have a basis of strong management of workplace. So many places, if you see, I've been using the word as workplace. So 5 years talks about workplace management. Simply, I would say workplace management. And three new definitions have been given here: mura, muri, mura, and muda. What do you mean by muri? Muri means overburden or unreasonable. Mura, unevenness or inconsistency. Muda, activity which is a wasteful or doesn't add value. If you actually look at the activities right from morning to evening, so many non-value added activities will be taken place. So we need to identify which are all those activities. We need to remove them, then add value to it. Then only we'll get the correct results, right? This is what I was talking about. The word fires was generalized in 1980 in manufacturing sector in Japan as a Toyota production system. This normally people heard about this TPS became famous in the sector, and fires activities were set as one of the bases of TPS. Early 1980, it was started with the manufacturing industry, and then slowly they have expanded to service industry also. That happened during 1990. This origin of fires and lean manufacturing, as I shown you in the earlier PPT slide. Fires began as part of Toyota production system. The manufacturing method began by leaders of Toyota Motor Company. It shows the car assembly flow line is there. It started from that only, Toyota Motor Company, in the earlier mid 20th century. And then the system, often referred as lean manufacturing in the West, aims to increase the value of products and services for customers. There are two things here. One is value of increasing the value of products. And the earlier slides I was talking about is reduce the non-value added activities. So at the end, we get double benefit out of it. This is often accomplished by eliminating waste from production processes. So not only increasing value, by eliminating waste also directly proportional to the value increase. Scrap production, time reduction, waste of time, waste of process, waste of movement, everything can be reduced. And everything is money, right? Lean manufacturing involved the use of many tools such as fires, Kaizen, Kanban, Jidoka. These are all Japanese terminologies used. We are going to discuss only about fires and Haijunke and Poka Yoka. And we are talking about one of the tools of lean, which is fires. Fires is considered a foundational part of the TPS because until the workplace is in a clean, organized state, achieving consistently good results is difficult. A messy, cluttered space can lead to mistakes, slowdowns in production, and even accidents will happen, all of which interrupt operations and negatively impact a company. When you step into the factory, when you notice fires is followed, you can see the productivity goes up, you can see people disciplinary working, at output plan was actual will be 100%. So the first point is no following fires. That's the reason I said the success of secret is fires. Fires is used to enhance productivity, safety through housekeeping technology or technique. How do we increase productivity because of fires? Fires talks about an arrangement of material and other stuff. Then how can we increase productivity? That's a big question mark here. Somebody was asking about that one also. How it is going to be one question I have seen just now. How is it going to be useful in industry? If you want to increase productivity, you want all the material or no, normally in industrial terminology, we use forum, man, machine, method, material. So that should be readily available if you want to increase productivity. Suppose if it is not there in the workplace, right material or right machine or right method, if it is not there, then you have to search for it. By doing so, you are wasting time. And at the end, no, you are working at an emergency condition, or no, your lot of pressure will be on you. By means of that, you will be skipping some process and you don't follow safety instructions which lead to accident or incident. That is the reason it says enhancement of productivity and safety through housekeeping technique. Housekeeping is how do we arrange our material, how do we keep our machines clean, and how to reach the material. Everything comes under housekeeping techniques. These are all the clue behind fires to achieve high levels of quality. And as I said, each and every wordings or terminologies I am using, you may have some doubt how it is going to be used to increase or to improve quality here because of fires. Fires, if we follow, you will be having only good parts or no accepted part. So we are going to use only accepted material as an input material to get the output as an accepted one. If you don't follow fires, you will be having okay material and a defect material. So probably you may pick up some defect material and start doing production. So because of that, again, we are ending up with a defect product, which may skip to customer also, which will have a bad impact on you in current business as well as in future business. In terms of safety, that's what last minute pressure will come, and we do not know which lever or push button need to be operated, which safety instructions need to be followed. We might skip some of the safety instructions, so which lead to accident. And then, as I told, productivity. How are you going to increase productivity? If everything is available, your time will be consumed exactly, and you can take a better production as per plan was actual, or within that shift you can take the production with the available resources, and hence productivity will go up. Workers need to have a favorable working environment. That is what it is not only related to worker, it says workers. Why is it saying worker? Means most of the time no people workers are working in the shop floor, so they need a good and conducive environment. So when you have fires in place, they will have this kind of environment which will directly motivate them to get more productivity and good quality product. As I told you earlier, housekeeping system developed by Japanese to create a better working environment. constantly high quality process and resulting high quality products. This is the terminology used for 5S. You can see 5S terminologies are used. Seiri, this is Japanese wordings. Seiri, Seiton, Seizo, and Seiketsu and Shitsuke. So all starts with yes. So we call it as 5S. This is worldwide accepted system. We'll go one by one. Seiri, it is one yes. We cannot change the yes also here because it has got a specific meaning. If I say one yes, it has to be Seiri only. Even though the Satan starts with yes, Seizo also starts with yes. But if I say one yes, it is Seiri only. So then what do you mean by Seiri? It says organization or sort of. In detail, we can see it in the later slides. Satan, you can take a note of it. What do you mean by Seiri? Seitan, Seiso, Seiketsu, and Shitsuke. Seiri talks about sort out, and Seitan talks about orderliness or systemize, and then Seizo is cleaning or shining. And we have made all the three, 1S, 2S, 3S. We have to make standardization. That's called Seiketsu, standardize. And we are not going to stop with 4 years, and whatever the system we follow, we need to sustain or we need to continue that system. We should have that kind of discipline in following the system. In most of the companies, if you see, they start in a big way, but because of uh, sustainability factor is missing, they don't follow continuously. They don't have that kind of discipline, or because of other priorities, they are coming out of fires. Then after some time, when they have a big issue with the product or process or safety, again they are going back to fires. So that should not be the way we have to work out. That's the reason it says we have to sustain the system which we follow. One by one, we'll go through it. Please make a note of it. Organization, Sairi means organization, and Seitan is orderliness. Seizo is about cleaning. Seiketsu, standardize. And Shitsuke is about sustain. Please take a minute to write down because we are going to talk about only on these fires. Okay, let me move to the next one. It says the fire is the most impressive secret of Japanese manufacturing companies. Since the factories were so well organized, hence unusual situations were readily visible. Most of the companies, unusual situations are hidden. But when you make the things visible, when you follow these fires, unusual situations will become visible so that you can take action and you need not expect new surprises. So because every day you are dealing with the unusual situations and tackling all those things also. See, this is one example of detection of fires. Any problem such as loose bolt or oil leakage could be easily seen as the machineries, equipments were clean and well maintained. We have to visualize the things from here. Suppose the machine bottom is having oil leakage. You cannot say anything from there, right? It is totally cluttered, dusty, dirty, and everything. Suppose if it is cleaned and if any bolts or nuts fallen down on the floor, it will be more visible for you to identify. Otherwise, you may not be able to identify, and machine may break down. During that point of time only, we may be noticing all these loose parts are coming out of machine. And the second one, this appetite of cleanliness and tidiness became a hallmark of Japanese organization. That is the reason even after World War, they came up in a good manner. Benefits of fires. Uh, Till now, if you have any doubt, you can raise your questions. I can go through it for 5 minutes, then I'll move on to the next one. Because so far we have discussed about what do you mean by 5 years and what are the definition of 5 years. I don't want to go to benefits of 5 years now, because till now I have discussed about 5 years terminology and what it asks for, actually what is the requirement, and from there you can derive the benefits. So that's the reason I am asking you to give a Q&A. We will discuss, and again we'll move back to benefits of 5 years. Let me see Q&A. Yes, Mr. Karthik. Yes, it starts from basics of 5 years. Mr. Rajkumar Sharma, what is the basic of QMS you're asking for? I am not talking about QMS here. That's a separate subject. One person was asking about, please explain Muda again. Okay, I'll go back to that slide. What is the specific difference of 5 years and housekeeping? By following 5 years, you are maintaining housekeeping. How do you say that, no, I have a good housekeeping? You have to follow 5 years. Then you will have a good housekeeping. And another person asked, do we use this method in construction project? I did not notice this used yet in projects. There is no boundary for it. Yes, we can use it in any project. You can correlate your activities with your this 5 years. What I was talking about, no, your construction project activities. You can correlate, you can visualize your activities with this 5 years. 5 years talks about, no, keeping the material. It says starting out, no. In construction also, you need to keep a good material and bad material separately. Broken bricks and good bricks we have to keep separately. Otherwise, the defect material will go into construction, which will have a weak construction also. No, it is going to affect your construction result. So this can each and every yes you can apply to your projects. And sir, whoever is raising hand, please put your question here in Q&A.
Questions will be answered after the presentation, everyone.
Yeah, some people are raising hands, so I'm telling them they can come here. What are the benefits of this certification? One gentleman is asking. Yes, if you are certified with 5 years, everybody will be knowing that you are following a systematic approach towards your operation or towards your production, and you are working in a minute level. That's what they can understand. And when any visitor comes to your factory or your workplace, it will evidently they can see you are following 5 years. Material will be there in the earmarked area, accepted material will be there separately, defect material will be there separately, and the way of working will also be very cleanly visible for them. And who will audit the fires? There are some certified people are there, certain auditors are there for that, so they can do the audit. Internally, you can do the audit. Once you are well versed with the audit fires technology, fires techniques, then you can do audit internally for your organization. Any technique for mistake proofing, that is also one of fires. There is also one of the tool of lean manufacturing. We are not talking much about lean manufacturing here, but mistake proofing will also lead to that improvement in fires. You can identify the product defect before it going for it. So it prevents your mistake. That's what called mistake proofing. Can we say SEISO as cleaning and inspection? Sir, we will yet to see the those slides. We can discuss about that later in the coming slides. How do you apply this in IT field? That's what I said. There is no boundary or a category of industry to be using this technique, FIRES technique. In fact, without knowing in IT, without knowing this FIRES, you guys are applying this technique in your day-to-day operations. You are putting all related files into your folder, right? Folder is having a separate name, maybe customer based, or maybe process based, or maybe year based. That is also kind of FIRES. No, you are putting everything into that related folder, so that whenever you want data or whenever you want to retrieve data, you are doing it very simply. Within a fraction of second, you are retrieving the data. Supposing you think that you are not doing that, what will happen? You have to search for the file. No? It will take more time. So unknowingly, without knowing FIRES, we people are doing that FIRES practice in a day-to-day activities. Rather than only cleanliness. No, cleanliness is one of the FIRES. We have other factors also. And Mr. Marco, how do you apply this in stock trading? This is again related to office work, right? There is a separate specific field, specific FIRES called office FIRES is there. I'm talking about general. It can be applied anywhere. And in office, what are the FIRES we can maintain? As I said, for IT, you can put the files in the specific folder for retrieval of data within a minute, and now no loss of time. And even if you have hot files, you can put it in an order manner from alphabets A to Z, so that you can retrieve the data. Even in your table, you can keep the things in an orderly manner. So all those things comes under office FIRES. You can apply that techniques in your office, but the basic requirement is this FIRES, what I'm talking about. What's the difference between first and second desk? Yes, sir, we will go through it. In coming slides, I will be explaining you in detail. Sort and systemize, that is also coming in the future slides. Mr. Satyam was asking, sir, somebody saying 6s added, one more yes for safety. Is it correct? Yes. People have added 6th yes also nowadays. Safety, because safety is, earlier safety was treated as a separate subject. Now safety is a part of our day-to-day activities, part of our day-to-day operations. So some people call it as safety as a 6th yes, but the technology wise or the technique wise, yeah, when you talk about 5 years, the 6th one is not there. This is the latest one. Okay. Is there any standards or guideline for 5 years? No, there is no standard. Like no ISO, they have a standard, but there is no standard for 5 years. But the guidelines are there. The explanations what I am going to tell you in future slides. it is going to tell you, how are you going to adapt or follow or implement 1S, 2S, 3S, 4S, 5S, and how are you going to monitor and how are you going to ensure that the system is having a continual improvement. And the other question is 5S applied for all sector? Yes, of course. How to implement each yes in the industry? Yeah, I will tell you. I have another material for which will give you input for implementation purposes. I would like to understand the application of 5S in facility management. Facility management more talks on maintenance, right? So in maintenance, suppose you are searching for a tool, what will happen? The breakdown ask goes up, right? Unless otherwise you follow 5S. If you follow 5S, you can have a tool in marked places, so that very easily you can take the tool and put it back to the defined place, so that in future also it will be useful for you. Can you display the slide number 2? Slide number 2 is what, sir? How different is 5S from Kaizen? Will both complement each other? Yes, that is also true. 5S are started predominantly to you ensure safety and then for other benefits. No, safety is one of the things needs to be concentrated. 5S does not end with safety alone. It talks about productivity improvement, it talks about housekeeping, and one of the factors is safety. Sustainability, how can we ensure as an organization we are receiving ready product directly from customer? So you are a dealer or what? I am not sure about how you operate your company, but what I understand from you, it's like you are a dealer. Even if you are a dealer, you need to identify your product. You need to keep the right product in the right place to save time. Otherwise, wrong product will be shipped out. So that is one example of IS. Please say how to implement each is explained with live examples. Yeah, it is coming in the future slides. I will explain you how to apply this in budgeting. You have to identify the resources required for the implementation. When I talk about resources, anyway, manpower resources there with you, but other resources like identification, sticker, recording, and other stuff, it is coming in the implementation slide. I will explain you there also. Of course, you need to apply this in budgeting because you need some money for implementation purposes initially. After that, it is going to be an ongoing affair for you. Is there certification requirement for 5S? There are certain, it is not related to ISO, they won't give you certification, but certain private institutes are there, they will do 5S audit. Okay, so then they will rate you and then they can give you a certification. No, you are meeting the requirements or your 5S. How will you differ this from SOP? SOP talks about how are you going to do the process. Okay, it talks about what are the resources required and how are you going to ensure that resources are available for your immediate process. SOP will help you in achieving this one, but that is the one of the thing. Does this have any role in maintaining QMS? Yeah, QMS talks about product, correct? In QMS also, okay product to be kept separately and rejected part to be kept separately. If you follow 5S, that is more applicable here. and even in document also. Is this 5S applicable in FMCG? Yes, very well applicable. Does certification requires exam? No, you must have input on 5S. No, how are you going to implement it? Unless otherwise, we have that competency. Many people are talking about QMS, so I can quote some terminology from QMS. QMS talks about competency. Competency is nothing but the ability to apply knowledge and skill. So first thing, we need to acquire knowledge. That's the reason we are having class today. First thing, we need to have a knowledge. Knowledge is nothing but theoretical knowledge plus then again combined with your practical experience. Then skill is how do you execute that one. So both the things together call it as competency. So we did not have a certification, but we need to have a competency to implement, to sustain the process also. How it will be beneficial for oil and gas facility? In oil and gas facility also you have identification in each and every tank. I am taking just a few examples for that since you asked for it. You are writing which oil is there in which tank, number one. And number two, you are writing which are the passage tubes or no gases and other thing you are identifying. In lever or opening passages, you are identifying which way it has to be open or which way it has to be closed. If you wrongly operate it, then you will have a negative impact. That's an example of fires you are following. No ISO standard for fires. Threefold conduct the training program for 5 years lead auditor. There is no lead auditor course for 5 years, but we are planning to conduct a full day. This is about 2 days, 2 hours program. Na? So we are planning to conduct a 1 day program in total where we'll have detailed workshop or study and interaction will be there. Coming second, we are planning to conduct. Of how will we start 5 years implementation? Yeah, I'll explain you. Is 5 years ISO certified? No. Okay, thanks for your question. We'll go back to slides, then we'll come back here again after some time. Thank you very much. Then we are moving to benefits of 5 years. Many people asked many questions. I think answers are coming here. If tools and materials are conveniently located in niche work areas, it will give you yield, number one. And one person was asking question from facility management team. So this is the answer for him. And less time spent by operators to look for items. Suppose if you have more tools in one box, how do you take the tool which you actually require? It will take more time. Na? So that is a purpose or a benefit of 5 years. And then higher workplace efficiency is achieved by this. A vital vision is in mass production. Workplace efficiency or productivity can be achieved. That's what I was explaining you in earlier slides. Specifically mass production where you cannot lose even a minute or even a second. And then workforce motivation is increased due to a clean and orderly workplace, which leads to better comfort and security. As I said, work environment to be maintained. If you want your environment to be maintained, then this 5 years need to be followed. So that when you step into the factory, when you have a clean atmosphere, you can have that will motivate you to do a better product or better process. It will increase your productivity also. Company name and brand image improves. Yes, of course. and safety in work area is ensured. Easy machine maintenance, consistent in quality you can achieve. Productivity will be improved, reduction in cycle time, and you have a good health also. Smooth working without obstruction, come deviation makes easy and problem-free management of places. Suppose if you have a place for everything and everything in its place, you can have a space for walking, you can have a space for material movement so that it will not disturb others or it will not obstruct your production. And working people knows where to lay their hands for things that are required for that work. Clear-cut identification will give you inputs, so that this is more related to maintenance guys. When they do not know where to touch and what to be touched, when clear-cut sticker is there, it will be easy for them to do a maintenance job. It will save your time due to easy and quick retrieval of accessories. This accessory is not only related to component or product or tool. One person was asking about whether it is applicable to IT industry or not. Yeah, easy and quick retrieval of documents or folders or files or mails. This is usable. And then availability of more space. Since you are arranging the components and products in a required manner, you will have more space. Generate workplace proprietorship, that means ownership. Normally companies, some person was asking about how to implement this FIRES. First thing, we need to take ownership, and this more focus on cultural change. It is not like studying and implementing. We have to feel that no, it is required for our factory or our shop floor. That ownership is required and that cultural change is required. Normally many people, many companies I have seen, if we go for any new system, resistance will be there, correct? So that culture need to be changed. They have to accept, especially the line person or the down the level person need to accept. You can get result only once they accept and once they implement and once they follow. Putting of all QC tools and techniques so that you can use all QC tools and techniques, constant quality improvement, easy manufacturing, and kindergarten of quality tools. Once you started doing this, and that quality tools, application of quality tools will become very easy for you. Pictorial management system. Somebody was asking about this, no? How do we know that no FIRES is implemented? As I said earlier, once you step into the factory, you can see many more displays, correct? Which route you have to take, what safety precautions you have to follow through signboards. Those are all pictorial management, pictorial form of communication. So by seeing that, you can see, no, this company is following FIRES. Then photographic control to see the abnormalities. Abnormal conditions are understood by natural signs, that what I was talking about, signboards. Right or wrong of the process is revealed by a glance. I can take one example of this right or wrong of the process. In many machines, you will have a lighting system at the top of the machine where when machine is running, that green light will be glowing, and machine is off, red will be there, or machine is running not doing anything, means that orange will be there. By seeing that one, any maintenance or even production manager can easily reach that machine and can understand what is going wrong. Otherwise you see the reports, you may not be able to see what went wrong yesterday. But it is a kind of visual control you can have. one of the lean production system is 5S. Lean is nothing but the latest avatar of just in time, and it is derived from production system as per Toyota. That's what I was explaining you, TPS, Toyota production system. And removal of waste, broadly used in locomotive manufacturing and other monotonous manufacturing. It means, where the continuous production is going on, we cannot lose even a minute. That's what I was explaining you. Suppose you spend time on searching for material, or machine is down for about a couple of hours, then you are losing production. I can take a very well example of this auto industry, where car companies, OEMs are doing about 2,000, 3,000 cars in a day. Unless otherwise they follow 5S, they cannot achieve this. Take an example in Indian rupees, and an average value of car is 5 lakhs. You just imagine 2,000 cars into 5 lakhs, they are making a value, production value for a day. Suppose one component is not there, or one component they are searching for it, one car will be lost. The production of one car is lost. That component may be a nut or bolt costing about 8 rupees or 10 rupees. Because of this 8 rupees, 10 rupees, one 5 lakh car is stopped. Because of that, the continuity is not there, that flow is not there, chain will not be there. No, so continuously they have a problem because of that one bolt or nut. You see the impact of rupees 8. Then by means of eliminating waste, we are adding value to customer. So it's mindset, assurance to accomplish a totally waste-free operation. We do not know actually. When you started looking at waste management operations, or how do we generate waste? One is talking about waste elimination, correct? So why it is generated, whether it is actually can be reduced or not. Straight away you can reduce 20% of waste only by looking at the things going wrong. You need not take any action. You just look at the reports, definitely it will come down. That's what it says, mindset. We need to have a mindset to apply, or mindset to look into the details. And the second one is achieving simple and continuously improving processes on customer success is being dedicated. Without customers, we are nowhere. So we have to give more focus on customer success. Benefits related to operations outlook, cost saving, of course, maintaining minimum inventories due to lean production processes, and then a rapidly enhanced cash flow, which is critical. Each and every lines what I am describing here, it has got a detailed meaning. Rapidly enhanced cash flow. How 5 years? 5 years, as till now we are talking about 5 years means neatly arranged and other stuff, right? How it is going to increase cash flow? I was talking about one example where okay part and defect part are mixed together. By means of that, you are producing a defect product, and you cannot sell it to customer also. But because of producing defect product, more resources are used, which is of no use, so that your cash is trapped there. That is the reason it says rapidly enhance cash flow. How can we increase cash flow? By means of increasing product outflow, by means of increasing product selling, so that the cash will come back. But if we produce a defect product and keep it with us, cash flow will definitely get affected. And then productivity and the quality improvement combined with reduction in delivery times, props growth, results in more amount of available resources. As I said earlier, normally resources comes under 4M, right? If you consider that you have produced a defect product, what are the resources you have consumed there? You have consumed machine. We pay normally machine hour rate, right? So we use, let's say, for example, 1,000 rupees per machine hour rate is 1,000 rupees. We have used 1 hour to produce a defect product, but the 1,000 rupees is lost. And you are using electricity, that is lost. You are using manpower resource, that is lost. and you are using a material that is also gone into waste. So all these resources are gone into waste for producing a defect product. So instead of attacking or analyzing the defect product, we need to attack fires so that it will give you a good product, which will give you a cash flow, good cash flow, and you can in turn you can improve customer satisfaction or improvement on customer front also. And other benefits of Operation Outlook: availability of more work area and office area. Since you are arranging the things, definitely will be having more area, which in turn helps to adding product lines, in-house component production, so that you can whatever the components outsourced, you can bring it inside. You can have a better control over that because you are seeing the process at your own eyes at in-house itself. And increase in output of prevailing products without acquisition of new facilities. Because of this not following fires, we are losing, or no, more resources are draining out. That's what it says: increasing output of prevailing products without acquisition of new facilities. Normally, if you see any company which is not following their capacity utilization, if you take, it will be coming to only 50 to 55% actual capacity utilization, but they are using 25 working days of a month, but actual output comes out is only 50% of it. So the balance 50% is gone. That's the reason it says fires is the first opening point of all QC tools. Could be said as the vital requirement of all QC tools. So there is no point in studying all QC tools, histogram and root cause analysis and everything, unless otherwise you have fires in the place, because no, this gives input for you. Suppose the input is wrong, whatever the tools or techniques you adopt, the output will also be wrong, and it will lead you to take a wrong decision because input is wrong. And sometimes we may end up with taking wrong strategic directions or decisions, which could affect your business also. So we are going to discuss one by one. The Japanese word is called seiri. It talks about organization. Number one, we should decide what we need. That means what? We have so many parts in our factory or in our working area where required parts and not required parts is also there. So first thing, you need to segregate which is required, which is not required. That's what it says. Decide what you need, number one. And number two, remove unnecessary clutter. And then all tools, gauges, materials classified and then stored. You can see in very small industries, they may not be having that much of space. If you ask them to do follow fires, they will be talking about, no, I am having insufficient space. But actually the answer is the other way around. When you follow fires, you will have more space. But people need to understand about this requirement and implement it. So it says remove items which are broken. We may think normally, this broken part or this defect part may be used in future. We normally think or apply that concept and keeping all these defect and broken parts separately, but it occupies more space, and even after 10 days or 20 days, that part will also be of no use. And it says unusable or only occasionally used. So we have to identify which are all broken parts, which are unused part, and you can have identification of near usage also. Say for example, within 10 days or within 1 week, I'm going to use it. This one, yeah, it will take 10 days time or it will take 1 month time. You can segregate, and based on that, you can take a decision on that. But don't keep any unwanted or unused material for a longer period. It will become more rust, in fact. So which will be of no use in future. Even you cannot sell the material for scrap. It will be reached to that position. So, so to sort out, this is the technique we are going to follow. This is called red tag technique. Red tag means, why is it called a red tag? It should have red in color so that it can catches everybody's eyes. So give staff how to do that. Give staff red labels, number one, and ask staff to go through every item in the workplace. Then ask them whether it is needed or not. Ask them to write the quantity, description, and if you have part number, and then put the red tag on it. After 2-3 days, people can assemble and then can discuss about it whether it is going to be used or not. If you put red tag, doesn't mean that we are going to scrap it 100%. We are going to discuss on the subject or discuss on the product whether it is going to be useful or not. Then based on the discussion, you are going to take a decision. People wrongly misunderstood about this red tag. So no, everything will be scrapped. No, it is not like that. It is going to help you in taking decision and free from clutter. And store in the red tag area. Whatever you are identifying, keep all these items in that red tag area, then you can have a discussion on it. So number one yes, first yes, talks about sorting out. Organization, the Japanese word is seiri, and in our terminology, you can use sorting. You are sorting wanted item and unwanted item separately, and then moving into red tag area, and from there you are discussing and taking a decision on that. That's what talks about seiri. This is a continuation of a red tag. It says place the suspected item in the red tag area for 1 week. It depends on the company. It differs from organization to organization. Some people know they cannot wait for 1 week because they think that 1 week is a longer period. If you do it twice in a week so that you can take a faster decision on this. So people once in 3 days or once in 4 days, they come and discuss. But whatever they suspect, they need not take a decision on their own. That is the reason every company will have cross-functional team or fires. So they can come inside, they can pitch inside, discuss and decide on it. Allow the staff to re-evaluate the needed items. So we are segregating needed item, non-needed items, or required items or not required items. Then we are discussing and re-evaluating the items. At the end of 1 week, those who need items should be returned. So the first step during implementation is identification of suspected part. Suspected part doesn't have a tag of accepted or not accepted. It says suspected. Suspected means it may be accepted or may not be accepted. So we are moving into red tag area. Then we are discussing and taking the decision. Normally this kind of practice is being followed. You can prioritize your items low, average and higher. It depends on frequency of usage. Less than once per year or once in a year, it has got low priority. And how to use it? Throw away or stow away from the workplace. We said we need to have workplace clean and tidy, right? So don't keep any unwanted item. That too, here it says once in a year you are going to use it. Why do you want to store that kind of item in the workplace area? And the second category or the second priority is average. It says once in a month or once in a week. How to use it? Store together, but not near workplace area. Keep it separately. And the high one is once in a day, locate at the workplace itself because you are going to use it. So here you can have once again I am telling you because there's a method of implementing fires. You are identifying a red tag and prioritizing what are all the low area and what are the average and what are the high priority items. The second S is orderliness. It's called in Japanese terminology seitan. So once you have eliminated all the unneeded items, you can see the link between S1 and S2. S1, you are segregating or you are differentiating needed item and non-needed items. So it is a continuation of that one. It says once you have eliminated all the unneeded items, now turn to the leftover items. How are you going to use that one? For the available one or for the picked up one, you need to earmark the area. It means designate locations. Number one, not only keeping the components or needing the product in that location, use tabs and labels for identification purpose, and then ensure everything is available as it is needed at the point of use. It should be nearer to the usage point. That's what I said, easy reachable point. So number one, you are taking or you are identifying the area where you are going to store this needed item. Number two, you are going to put the ID identification tag on it by using label also, and then it should be easily reachable for working purposes. And these are all the checkpoints related to orderliness. Positions of aisles and storage places clearly marked, and then tools classified and stored by frequency of use. So here, how are we going to use it? Some tools may not be used very frequently. You can keep those items at the back end. So very easily usable or no frequently usable items can be in the front row, so that you can you can take and keep it back with very easy manner. And the third one talks about pallets stacked correctly. You need to identify the number of components to be stacked so that it will not fall down. Safety equipment easily accessible. Here I want to take an example from industry. Many places people will have this fire extinguisher in the wall, correct? But you cannot reach or you cannot take that fire extinguisher from the designated place, because no many components or many products or pallets will be stored in front of the fire extinguisher. Fire extinguisher to be used in an emergency situation, but the pathetic situation is you have to remove everything to reach that fire safety extinguisher. That is the reason it talks about safety equipment easily accessible. So you need to have a way to reach this safety equipments. Then flows in good condition. Pits should not be there, and even when you move trucks or trolleys, components should not fall down. So floor should be maintained in a good condition. The third one is SISO. It's nothing but cleaning or shining the workplace. So I am going back to S1. You are segregating, and the second one you are arranging, correct? And the third one, after your arrangement, you are going to keep the place and product in a very clean manner. That's what it says. Create a spotless workplace, and then identify, eliminate causes of dirt. I said it, shining and cleaning. So how to do that? You cannot keep on cleaning the component or product. It says what is the root cause for dirt and dust. You try to remove that one so that you can maintain very well. Remove the need to clean. That's what it says. Then sweep, dust, polish, and paint we need to follow. Second continuation of clean and shine. Divide areas. This is how people implement in industry. You cannot, in total, you cannot have a good control on fire. So people divide into zones like Z1, Z2, Z3, like that. So one person from each zone will be responsible for that. We call it as fire champion for that area. Then we are defining responsibilities for this cleaning. Tools and equipment must be owned by an individual, nothing but who is the process owner. Then focus on removing the need to clean. Here you can have a cleaning schedule also, depends on the area or depends on the product you are using. This can be cleaned once in a day, or this can be used once in a week. Then follow that schedule so that the sustainability factor will be maintained. The fourth one is talking about standardization in Japanese terminology, it is called as seiketsu. So again, I am talking about, I'm going back to 1, 2, 3, segregating and then putting it in place and then shining. Then after that, we need to standardize our process for sustainability. It says generate a maintenance system for the first three, and then develop procedures, schedules, practices. So you need to follow this procedure. Who is going to clean at what frequency? And what are the methods to be followed? Everything need to be identified and followed. That's what it says. Standardize your activity, and then continue to access the use and disposal of items, and regularly audit using checklist and measures of housekeeping. Some person was one of the question posed is how to do effectively. This is the answer. When you use a procedure, you will be following. Number one, whether you are following as per procedure, you need to have a checklist. Correct. In many places, in public places, you can see. I can take an example of a restroom where they put checklist. The back side of the door, they have a checklist. They put tick mark whether how many times they have cleaned the toilet or how many times they have applied mopping and other stuff. Every day they are putting the tick mark so that it is being checked by some other supervisor. And then real challenge is to keep it clean always. The fifth one, talking about sustainability or the discipline what we need to have. It means you have to inoculate courtesy and good habits. Driving force behind all fires is required. Deming's point number one is constancy of purpose, and it is a way of life. That's what I said. It is a culture change. We have to think that it is a way of life, part of health and safety, and then involve the workforce, develop and keep good habits. Unless otherwise, we have a discipline. This cannot be sustained. So this is where many companies are facing issues. Immediately they will get into oneness. They'll be doing it very good, but once they move on because of other priorities or other pressures, they will not be following, so that discipline is gone. So again they are going back to the old scenario, which is not good for any company, right? Okay, here I can take questions because we have seen the definition of fires, and what is the requirement of fires and how are we going to implement in your workplace. That's what we have seen so far. Here I can take a question. Please post your questions there. Can FIRE's principles be used in day-to-day life? Give some examples. I am talking more on industry, but actually knowingly or unknowingly, uh, it is being followed in our houses also. You just think, for example, you have a car key, correct? In your house, you have a place for car key to hold, right? You are putting it there. So next day morning, without any searching, without wasting of any time, straight away you are going to that place and picking up the car key. You just imagine if you don't follow that practice, what will happen? You need to spend at least 20 minutes to search for the car key. Not only that, we are going to disturb others also in the house, right? Because of other inefficient way of working or inefficient way of practice, we are going to make everybody in a mess. That's what I said. Day-to-day life, not only for industry, we can do it for house also. In some places we are doing it, but we can improve from the current level. If you take in case of industry, The best example I can take stores. Many stores you can see they will have identification on the component. They'll have the receipt number in the sticker. They'll have the supplier name, and they'll have when did they receive it, and they will put a green sticker or red sticker saying the quality status of the product. So which is very easy for any store person to identify whether it is a good product or bad product, and it can be moved to production line without spending or without wasting time for searching. And the next is requirement of or involvement of fires in QMS. This I will answer. Will you present best practices? I will show you example of best practice of fires in industrial scenario in later slides. Okay. How can you make a difference between fires and SOP? SOP is one of the thing. Okay, SOP says how are you going to follow or how are you going to do production, correct? That is one of the fires. It doesn't ends with making SOP. Again, it is having a link. How are you going to retrieve that SOP when you require? You will have n number of SOP, right? At least 50 to 100 SOPs. Unless otherwise you have identification. For example, S1 talks about machining, S2 talks about welding. You cannot take it immediately, right? So that difference we have to make it. That kind of discipline we have to follow. Can we do defect identification with this fires? Yes, you can. What is the main object of 4th and 5S? I have just answered now. 4th talks about standardization. Whatever the system you are implementing, make a standard, make a procedure to follow. The right 5th talks about the discipline of following that one. And another person asked how 5S can be used in education sector. Yeah, you are having a different streams, right? Mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. You can start realizing or thinking or recall from your admission process, correct? For new admissions, you will have separate file. For mechanical admissions, you will have separate file, correct? If it is a soft copy, you are following a separate folder. For electronics engineering students, you are having a separate folder. That is nothing but fires. You are having attendance register, you are having mark register, you are having internal test marks, everything you are having a fires there. In library, in your college library, you are having fires. Unless otherwise you follow 5 years, you cannot retrieve or you cannot take any book outside, right? You are having an identification of some people will do from alphabets to A to Z, and some people will do in terms of branches. Say for example, this side mechanical engineering, this electrical engineering, and the other side computer engineering, and there they follow A to Z. So that will have a direct linkage with your software, so that you can know whether that book is available or not by seeing the software itself. And if it is available, how do you pick that book? That is a big question here. Unless otherwise you follow 5 years, you cannot directly go to that place and pick that book. Otherwise you have to search for the book, and you will be spending more time there. It makes your life easy. This 5 years will makes your life easy. And other person said, are the external auditors certified, and do we need to have internal auditor certified too? Externally qualified people are there. They are certified by private education centers. Internal auditors, yeah, the qualified external auditor can qualify the internal auditors. And one person is asking about we are in flight catering. Yeah, of course it is required in catering. You have identification. Right now, vegetarian and non-vegetarian, you are putting some sticker, green sticker for vegetarian, and red sticker for non-vegetarian for easy identification. You are putting what is there inside, that identification also you are putting. That's the reason you are easily transfer your food to your customer. And what's difference between fires and lean manufacturing? Fires is one of the practice in lean manufacturing. House rules, please. House rules, straight away you can think about second desk. Everything in its place and a place for everything. You just think about the application of this one at your home. Best example I can tell you, we are eating a dining place, right? And we have separate place called rest place for other purposes. We are not using that place for other purposes, right? So you have already marked the earmarked the area where we want to do what activity, correct? That is also 5S, correct? You are using dining hall for eating purpose. You are having a front hall for sitting, relaxing, and other stuff. So there you are following 5S. In fact, the old traditional system I can recall, one box used to be there. I still remember. Nowadays also people are using. I do not know about other places of other parts of countries, but in India, people used to have some kind of box. It will have a different packets inside. It will have small boxes where it has got mustard and no other species inside, so that very easily you can identify and take it out for cooking purposes. Even now some people are using the same thing. So all rules, all techniques you can compare from our household activities. Please explain which tools do we use for sorting. I'll explain you how are you going to do that. Is there any charter for tracking? Of course. Again, some people are talking about QMS now. In QMS, normally we emphasize more on PDCA, Plan Do Check Act. Here also the same kind of Plan Do Check Act can be followed. Your planning is nothing but now how are you going to implement that kind of plan is required. Once you started doing, it comes under do activity, and you are checking the progress status of 5 years, it comes under C activity. And then if you have any gaps over there, you take some action to improve from that. That is called Act A. So the same PDCA can be used here. And you can have a tracking sheet. You can have a mark also. Once in a month you can do audit and put a mark. It will show you how progressively you are working on it. QA is supposed to be at the end of presentation. Actually it depends, but I know I want your questions to be answered then and there. I don't want to have at the end, because when you have a doubt at some after passing some 20-30 slides, I want that to be clarified then and there. That's the reason I'm raising this one. And how can I become certified professional? I've already answered. Will you discuss when 5 years is not practicable? There is no not practicable thing. That's the reason I said it's only a positive thinking. We can say half glass full or half glass empty. It depends on our thinking and approach. Yes, in threefold they give you, once you attend the course, they give you a certificate of successfully completed 5 years training. Okay, how 5 years is related to quality function? I explained about product quality. Is there a standard time to implement a 5 years project? No, there is no specific time. It depends on how many functions you have and depends on how fastly you have to implement it. Sir, whoever raised hand, please raise question here. One person asked ISO 9001 and 5 years. What is the difference? ISO 9001 is a standard, okay, standard which needs to be followed, and this is a technique. 5 years is a technique needs to be followed. 5 years, how 5 years affecting construction project? That's what I said. There is no boundary or there is no restriction for any kind of industry. You can apply this 5 years there, starting from segregation of wanted item and unwanted item. You just try to imagine or try to apply 1S, 2S, 3S, 4S, 5S to your construction project. You can immediately identify what needs to be done. What is JIT? This is also a Japanese terminology used. This expansion is just in time. That means material will be moved to your workplace just in time, so that you need not have, need not store a lump of material in front of you. Your housekeeping or your workplace will be neatly maintained because of this. It starts from supplier actually. You need not get all the material from supplier. You can have a limited period. Say for example, 1 day stock need to be maintained. That means you can save space also. The balance will be maintained by the supplier. And the same way from store to production, only 1 hour material or 2 hours material can be used, can be moved to production, so that shop floor is maintained very well. What if all available items may be used every day and may not be used for a week? This is not the right way of doing the work. You need to have a production plan first. You cannot use it everything in 1 day and no rest of the days leaving idle. That's not the right practice of doing it. Do you have any tools for sorting? Tool in the sense we have to follow that system. That's all. I'll tell you how to implement it. Okay. Are there before photos and after photos for better understanding? Yes, I have. I'll show you. How do you kickstart a 5S program in an organization where the culture will not allow change to happen? Yeah, this is a very great challenge, not only for your industry, it is worldwide, it is a great challenge in changing the culture. Okay, you have to call people, explain them. Number one, you show them the videos where no companies improved from ground level to next level, and then from there to next with the help of 5S. Then people can understand, number one. And number two, once you start working, take a before photograph and after photograph. You show them this is where we were working earlier and see the current situation after the implementation of 5S. Then they will realize that yes, it is very much useful for me. Then they will start involving. But cultural change is a big challenge. JIT, I have already answered. Can you show some videos? Video is not possible. I'll show you some photographs of 5S, 2S, 3S and all. IATF set to follow FIRES. IATF is a standard for automotive industry. Okay, that's a standard. It's a technique. That's what I said. Some person was asking about QMS and FIRES. If you have FIRES, achieving of IATF standard will be easy for you. Can we apply FIRES in construction industry? Yes, very much you can do it. What can be considered as the pitfalls of FIRES? That's what I said. Sustainability is a very big pitfall. If you don't follow continuously, then you will go back to square one. Again, you have to start. So continuous monitoring and auditing is required. If not, then it is going to be a big problem for you. Difference between FIRES and Kaizen. FIRES talks about how are you going to arrange the material. Kaizen talks about improvement, otherwise, small improvements. I think 3C is important to sustain 5 years. Can you please give explanation about 3C? 3C says constant container, constant location, and constant material. So you need to identify a constant place where you are going to place the same material, and in the container you are going to have the same number of component inside. That's what talks about 3C. Both are interrelated. Normally in shop floor, people talk about whether do we follow 3C and FIRES or not. This is the terminology we use. Can FIRES be used in integrated management system since company has taken up automation? Yes, you can do it. Which, yes, among 5 years is the difficult one to implement in an organization based on your observation? Follow the fifth one. In my view, that continuity or that discipline is not there. People with energy will start oneness. Okay, but later days that the continuity or that kind of discipline will be missing. That's the reason I said we'll go back to square one. Question: when joining to a new team, do you have guide questions for following the FIRE structure? I am not able to understand this question. Please put it in a simple manner. Lean Six Sigmas and all separate subject. ISO 9000 is required for auditor for whom FIRES will help. FIRES will help your industry, your workplace. That's what I said. This is called workplace environment, workplace management. It improves workplace environment, and I have said productivity improvement, safety improvement. So it is more related to your workplace. It is not a question of ISO 9000 is required for auditor. It is required for industry. Auditor does an audit and certifying that you are meeting the ISO 9001 requirements. Okay. What is the difference between FIRES and QC tools? FIRES, that's what talks about housekeeping technique. QC tool says how to do an analysis. What are the methods you have to do an analysis on a defect part and accepted part, how to do root cause analysis, how to hit the root of the problem, how to take an action. All those things comes under QC tools right from data collection. Difference between FIRES and Lean. FIRES is one of TPS, Lean Production System. Can you explain 3M again? I have not said 3M, I said 4M. In fact, as somebody was asking about 6th years safety, like 4M is getting extended now, adding 2 more M's. But normally people talk about 4M. 4M means men, machine, material, method. Some people using the term jointly as 5 years Kaizen. Kaizen is a small improvement. That's what I said. You can improve 5 years by means of approaching Kaizen, correct? You may not be doing in a big manner or one-time improvement. You can do it slowly. How is 5 years implemented inside an office? I explained you how I suppose if you have files, how to put it in a folder, how to give the name and how to retrieve the data, and if it is a hard file, how to have a name or how to identify or how to pick up the files when you want. Mr. Prashad Ilango once said, I'm waiting. What is your inquiry, sir? Prashad Ilango one. Can you please post it now? I'm not able to go through, go back and check. Mr. Prashant Ilangovan, please type it again. Mr. Satyam is saying, sir, 5 years auditor course conduct someone. It is real. I got that in through Google also. Yeah, competent trainers are there and they are conducting. Is there a standard labeling system to be followed? For certain things, yes, labeling system should be standard. It is required by customer, sometimes demanded by customer. But the ultimate aim is you need to identify what is the product name, when it is manufactured, and what is the shelf life for that item. All those things need to be captured. Certain specific items are defined by the customer or sometimes defined by the government also. Okay, we'll go back to slide. Thank you very much. It says 30-second rule. It means within 30 seconds, you have to take or you have to reach what you want. That's what it says. If it is possible for you to take within 30 seconds, you are following 5 years. That's what it says. Also applies to electronic records retrieval. I was explaining to you. And end of the day, this is what normally people want by following or by harnessing 5 years. Neat and clean workplace, smooth working, no obstruction, increase or improve on safety and productivity improvement, quality improvement, wastage reduction, improving machine maintenance and visual control system. Employees get motivated and workstations become spacious. And this is an answer for you. Some of the people asked for before and after slides. See here, There is no mark for keeping material, trolley, table, and everything. Here there is a space crunch. You cannot move inside. And after implementing 5 years, you have identified earmark area and you have a big space also. Before and after, if you see, the space remains same, correct? But here you have more access to space. That's the advantage of having uh, 5 years here. See, too much of unused item, people think that it will be useful in future, but once they started working on 5 years, they removed unwanted items, they scrapped it off. And here you can see the space. Actually, they have only this much of wanted item. And this talks about communication board. They have a communication board. It is not systematically followed, but here they have a team and put who has to follow what activity has to be taken place. Everything is shared here. And communication between shift supervisors is also displayed. One person was talking about facility management. See how the tools are kept in a single drawer. And after implementing 5 years, they have separate place for this one. It will be easy for you to remove this tool. And the discipline is we have to put it back in the same place. That discipline we need to follow. That is a great challenge actually. Implementation is not a great challenge. That's what I said. 5 years, having a discipline of following 5 years is a great challenge for us. Our staircase, there is no identification. Here it shows the height of the step so that you can use the step very carefully. Again, this unwanted items, here only wanted items they are maintaining. See how much space they have here. In fact, this half of the space is empty here. Shop floor, how gangway is there, how machines are, how trolleys are there, how conveyors are placed. People can walk here, material can be moved using this walkway so that accidents can be prevented, and these people can also move very freely. Do you want 5 years or 5D is a big question here. If you don't follow 5 years, these are all the things will happen. Delay and defect, dissatisfied customer, declining profit. I said cash flow will get affected, and then demoralized employee. So we have to take a call whether we need to have this 5D or 5S. But with this knowledge, definitely we will select 5S and not 5D. We have to plan today for our better tomorrow, follow 5 years. That's what I would insist here. And it continues in other slide. Please wait a sec. This is a very interesting topic. So far we have seen theory part of how the fire should be followed and other things. Here we are talking about the implementation part. Many people raised question on this: how am I going to implement fires effectively? That's what it's going to talk about. See, these are all the steps we need to follow. Each and every yes, I have a explanation like this. What is the definition? You see here carefully, and what is the actual outcome you expect, or the target outcome, and what action steps you are going to do it, and what are the resources you want to implement this oneness. Somebody was asking about the resources required for implementation of this fires, right? Each and every year we need to have a separate resources. Some of the resources may be common. See, oneness, the target outcome is we need uncluttered workplace. That means neat and tidy workplace. Then what are the action steps we need to take? Fires project we need to identify and take pictures before picture, so that once you implement you can take after picture, so that you can compare how did we improve. Review sorting criteria, how are we going to do this sorting. Then create a local red tag area, then move the suspected item there, put tag record, then take a decision, take picture after. Then after target time, move unclaimed items to the central red tag area, so that you have moved unwanted items from your shop floor to the red tag area. Your shop floor becomes clean and becomes uncluttered workplace. And for this, what are the resources we need? We need red tag, correct, to identify all these things. Then record forms. You need to write what are the components comes there, and camera for taking before and after pictures. The second is shine. Definition is removing dirt and debris. Target outcome is we need to have a clean workplace, right? Then what are the actions we need to take? Steps, define what you mean by clean. Then how to do this cleaning? We need, what are the supplies we need to have cleaning? The same way as I said, in one take before picture, then clean the work area. Even small imperfections fix, identify contamination resources, and then take after pictures. Resources required to clean, some supplies are required like brooms, dustpans, racks, degreasers, and floor cleaner. And then PPE, personal protective equipments, when you do cleaning, and other stuff like gloves, eye protection. Do not wear jewelry that can get caught in the equipment. This is from safety point of view. And the third is set in order. What are the actions required? Same way, take a before picture, then implement workplace changes. Mark locations by creating addresses and applying labeling, marking, and color code. Then take after picture, so that you can find the difference between before implementing and after implementing. Resources required are flip charts for creating current and future state diagrams. And some people they want a CAD and camera. Of course, stakeholders are required, who are real implementers like production people, maintenance, safety, to consider proposed changes. Then standardization. When you do standardization, do brainstorming, have internal discussion with the people, and then arrive at operating procedure, because the procedure should be feasible. Then update document to reflect changes. Make sure all stakeholders are aware of the new standard, inform and educate, because this communication is very, very important. Otherwise, people will be working on the same old style. What are the resources required? Job aids, visual aids required for communication, and then approval and information for those responsible for maintaining this in the company procedures. Then you can make poster, making supplies for posting new standards in the work areas. And the last one is a very important thing, sustaining. What are the action steps? Monitor process. This monitoring is very important because many places still forest people will be following, but failure on monitor part will collapse the entire program. Monitor process established during S4 standardized, then expand 5 years efforts to other work area, evaluate 5 years effectiveness, and recognize and reward strong efforts. That's what I said. We have to bifurcate in terms of zones so that you can reward zone 1, zone 2, zone 3 like that. Who's first, who's on the top, you can reward them. And then resources are required, management audit forms, and resources for communication, presentation tools are required, and management commitment and focus on maintaining the new standard. These are all some example people asked for it. Visual organization, how can we have control? See, identification is there, and here also they put wrench, they put identification for hammer, and they said this is a pallet truck, so that it has to be put back. This is the sample of a red tag. This visual standard. Here we have notice, here quality inspection, and here you have 3 different colors, red, blue, gray, and talks about production numbers and all. Visual equipments. This talks about, this is what I said, if you don't follow 5 years properly, no, it may misguide us, no, correct? Instead of switching it on, we might do this one, or instead of this, we will do this one, which will lead to accident or no wrong functioning of the machine. And it says, what is the pressure need to be identified? Within this mark, pressure needs to be identified. That's what it says. That means this green clearly depicts that it needs to be maintained within this area. And here it says 1 pump weekly, vibration test point, they have marked it. Visual metric, how do we follow? Here you can see many display boards, so that you can have a discussion at this point, you can monitor the real status of it. And this is another identification of chemicals, and it says watch for trucks, so that when you go out of this place, you have to watch and then walk. And people were asking about a checklist for fires. This is what we need to have. For SAIRI, what are the things we can check? Is the floor area free from unwanted area? Or tops of inside cupboard shelf free of unwanted items? Normally, this is a kind of habit we have. Apart from shelf, we always keep some of the components or some of the products at the top of the cupboard. So we have to check whether it is free. All items stored of frequency of use, and are walls free of old posters, calendars, pictures, notices. Is there a general clutter-free appearance in the shop floor or not? We have to see. And we can give mark also here. If not at all followed, you can give 0, and little done in that respect to 1. It goes like that. For 2, it done not systematically and being complied, but with more systematically. And the last one, topmost score, it says it's an ability to maintain it. So based on this input, you can give a mark here and then score. Then you can see what is the current score and where we want to improve. The same way we have a Satan checklist. Switches, fans, regulators, cables are in place, neat or wrong. Is there a general appearance? Here you can put the marks here. Same way for shining or cleaning schedules available and displayed. Floors, windows are clean from dust of use of adequate cleaning tools evident. Is there a general appearance of cleanliness all around? Then you can give. Based on audit timing, you can fix once in a week or fortnight. Do audit, give score, then ascertain the real situation for improvement. For standardization, I said it talks about more of procedures and checklist, other stuff, right? So all 5S procedures standardized, checklist available, labels notice standardized, aisles and gangways have standardized size and color, or pipes, cables, etc. color coded specifically. Here you can give mark. Then how to sustain? Do we have a system to follow? How are we going to follow? How are we going to implement? And the second one talks about, does management provide support for FIRES program and any leadership commitment is there or not? Then having first 3 years become part of daily work. Next checklist says, do employees show positive interest in FIRES activities? Here only we have a major challenge. Are FIRES posters and 5 points of work reminders displayed or not? These are all the checklists we can follow. You can do audit, put marks over there, and then see where do you want to improve from the current situation. This is another example of and after putting that mark, there's an example of assessment report. If you secure less than 25, it says you are not aware of FIRES. If it falls between 25 to 50%, you are randomly practicing FIRES. And if it is 50 to 75%, you are on the right track, but still need to improve. And if it is more than 75%, your management is committed to maintain FIRES and employees are showing positive interest in FIRES activities. That means the result is exhibiting everywhere. These are all some of the snaps. One second. See the way of arrangement of trolleys, so that you can move this trolley out without any effort, right? See how the spare rolls are kept properly. See how these belts are properly arranged. This is a classic example of arrangement of tools. How spanners are hanged, and this other kind of spanners. Here hammer, torque wrench, so that you can very easily identify which size of spanner do you want. Straight away you can go to the space and pick this up. The only discipline we need to follow is we have to put back in the same place. Yeah, this is excellent, excellent. See the top floor, top view of sewing floor, how it is neatly arranged. People are working in a working table. You can see nothing is outside of yellow lines. And one gentleman was asking about the challenges. Yes, cultural change is a big challenge for us, and we have to go one small step at a time. If you do it in total, you may you may not expect the speed at which you do it. And then small incremental change with sometimes little disruption will be there, but if you do it in a small incremental, you can tackle that disruption also. No cookie cutter solution available. That means there is no constant methodology to be followed for all the industries. It depends on how your industry is working. It may vary from company to company, right? That's what it says, no cookie cutter solution. And get managers and supervisors on board. Lack of commitment is a big challenge. And many times I use this sentence, loss of program continuity. So with this, I end the training session. Thank you very much. Please be on the line.
All questions were answered, Mr. Nambi?
Yeah, in between I have done. Have they raised any questions? Then can I take another 5 minutes and then close? Let me see what other question they have asked.
Okay, we're still waiting for more questions from anyone. For those who are asking about the certificate payment link, just give us some time. Tomorrow we will be sending you the payment links. And
Last question asked is 2 years set in order and 3 years shine. Yes, exactly right, Mr. Tushar.
those who have availed their certificates, certificates will be sent tomorrow, 1 or 2 working days. So thank you, Mr. Nambi, for delivering such an awesome webinar. Thank you to everyone who attended and who were engaging with our Q&A question, the session with us. Okay.
Thank you, participants. All the best.
All the best to everyone. For paid participants for certificate, we will be sending it in 1 or 2 working days. And those who wants to pay for certificate, we will be sending payment links. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Sir, you can stop the recording now.
Yes, I do that.